Hello, my name is Evelyn Thompson. I turned 75 last year. For most of my life, I believed family was everything. I gave them my youth, my savings, my health, my heart. And in return, I got a cruel joke that finally woke me up. This is the story of how I went from being the family's invisible ATM to a free woman living on a sun-drenched coast in Portugal. If you've ever felt used, undervalued, or betrayed by the people you love most, stay with me. This is for you. It started on Christmas Eve, 2 years ago. I had driven 3 hours in the snow to their house in Vermont. My hands were full of wrapped gifts: a new bicycle for my 12-year-old grandson Liam, a tablet for my 9-year-old granddaughter Sophie, a cashmere scarf for my daughter Laura, and a set of golf clubs for my son-in-law David. I had spent almost $3,000, money I'd saved from my pension and a small inheritance I never told them about. I knocked. Laura opened the door with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Mom, you're early. The party doesn't start till 7. "I thought I could help with the cooking," I said, stepping inside. David appeared from the living room. "We've got it covered, Evelyn. Why don't you sit in the den?" I sat there alone for an hour while they laughed in the kitchen. When the guests arrived, David's parents, Laura's friends, people I barely knew, I was introduced as Mom, then ignored. At gift opening time, my presents were opened quickly. Liam said, "Thanks, Grandma," without looking up from his phone. Sophie hugged me once, then ran off. Later, Laura handed me a small envelope. "We got you something special, Mom." I opened it. Inside was a glossy brochure for Sunrise Senior Living Community. The headline read, "Independent Living for Active Seniors. Time to relax and let others care for you." The room went quiet. Then David started laughing. "See, it's perfect for you. No more driving in snow, no more worrying about bills." Laura giggled. "Mom, don't look so shocked. It's just a joke." Liam and Sophie laughed too because the adults were laughing. I stared at the brochure. My hands shook. I felt the blood drain from my face. "It's not funny," I whispered. Laura rolled her eyes. "Oh, come on, Mom. You're always so dramatic. You're 75. You live alone. We're just looking out for you." I stood up. My legs felt like lead. "I think I should go." David shrugged. "Suit yourself. Roads are icy." I drove home crying the whole way. That night, I sat in my dark kitchen with the brochure in front of me. A burden, that's what they saw me as. Not a mother, not a grandmother, a burden. Let me take you back to how it all began. My husband Robert died when Laura was 14. Heart attack. No warning. I was 38, a school teacher, suddenly a single mother. I took a second job, cleaning offices at night. My hands cracked from bleach. I never complained. I wanted Laura to have everything I didn't: college, a wedding, a house. She met David in college. Nice boy, or so I thought. When they got engaged, I paid for half the wedding, $18,000. I sold my mother's pearl earrings to do it. Laura cried and hugged me. "Mom, you're the best." When they bought their first house, I gave them the down payment, $35,000. All my savings. I told them, "It's an investment in your future." Then the grandchildren came, Liam and Sophie. Beautiful, perfect. Laura went back to work as a nurse. I became their full-time nanny. I arrived at 6 a.m., made breakfast, drove them to school, picked them up, helped with homework, cooked dinner, cleaned the house. Every day, for free. David lost his job once. For 8 months, I sent them $800 a month so they wouldn't lose the house. "Just until he finds something," they said. He found a job, but the checks kept coming. I never asked them back. Last year, Sophie needed braces. $6,000. I paid. Liam's soccer camp, $2,000. I paid. Laura's car broke down, $5,000. I paid. But slowly, the thank yous stopped. My opinions became interference. When I suggested Liam needed glasses, David snapped, "Evelyn, where are the parents?" They stopped inviting me to holidays unless I offered to cook. They forgot my birthday twice. When I visited unannounced, they acted annoyed. "Mom, we're busy." And then that Christmas brochure. After Christmas, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying the laughter. I went to my safe in the bedroom. Inside were papers I hadn't looked at in years. Bank statements, investment accounts, a deed to a small apartment in Lisbon, Portugal. My Aunt Margaret died childless 20 years ago and left me everything. I never told anyone. I invested wisely. Stocks, bonds, a rental property in Florida I sold quietly. Total value, you ask? Almost $650,000, plus the Lisbon apartment, which had been rented out for years. The income had piled up in an account I never touched. I lived on my teacher's pension and Social Security. Modest life, small house, old car. They thought I was barely getting by. They had no idea. I stared at the numbers. In the last 10 years, I had given them over $180,000. Cash, gifts, help. And they laughed at me. Something broke inside me. Not anger, clarity. The next week, I made the changes. First, the bank. I canceled the automatic monthly transfer. I closed the joint account they used for emergencies. The manager asked, "Are you sure, Mrs. Thompson?" "I've never been surer," I said. Second, my lawyer. I rewrote my will. Everything, house, investments, savings, went to a charity for single mothers and elderly women who had been abandoned. I set up small trusts for Liam and Sophie, but only if they contacted me personally after age 25 and showed genuine interest, not obligation. Love. I set up small trusts for Liam and Sophie, but only if they contacted me personally after age 25 and showed genuine interest, not obligation. Love. Third, the tickets. I booked a one-way flight to Lisbon, first class. I'd never flown first class. It felt like rebellion. But before I left, I wrote 2 letters. Letter to Laura. My dearest Laura, by the time you read this, I'll be in Portugal. I own an apartment there, something you never knew about. I've stopped all financial support. The monthly checks are gone, the joint account is closed. I gave you everything. My time, my money, my love. I worked double shifts so you could have ballet lessons. I sold my jewelry for your wedding. I babysat your children for years without pay. I thought that made me indispensable. I was wrong. The brochure on Christmas was the final straw. You laughed while I cried. You saw me as a burden. So I've decided to stop being one. If you ever want a relationship with me, not my money, find me, but you'll have to prove it. No more using the grandchildren as messengers, no more guilt trips. I love you. I always will. But I love myself, too. Finally. Mom. Letter to David. David, you married my daughter, but you never respected me. You took my money and my help, then treated me like an inconvenience. I heard you on the phone last year talking about getting Mom into a home. You didn't know I was listening. Now you'll have to manage without me. No more safety net. Goodbye. Evelyn. I left the letters on the kitchen table, locked the house, and drove to the airport. Lisbon welcomed me with warm sun and salty air. The apartment overlooked the Tagus River. 2 bedrooms, balcony, flowers on the terrace. I hired a cleaner. I started painting again, something I hadn't done since college. I made friends. Maria, a widow who taught me Portuguese. Joelle, who took me dancing. I walked the cobblestone streets. I ate fresh fish at tiny restaurants. I felt light. 6 months later, Laura called. "Mom, we need to talk. The money stopped. We're struggling." I was quiet. She said, "I'm sorry. I didn't realize how much you did." I know, but words aren't enough anymore. She cried. I listened. Then I said, "If you want me in your life, come visit, without asking for anything. Just come." They haven't come yet. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. Either way, I'm not waiting. I'm living. I'm Evelyn Thompson. I'm 75, I'm free, and for the first time in my life, I'm happy.